Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Lauren Niemeyer, and I'm in the Learning Technologies group within the Division of Information Technology. And today, on our weekly webinar series, the focus is on University of Maryland and our new partnership with Coursera. And we're going to be talking a little bit about MOOCs and the MOOCs on campus and what that means. So to give you a little bit more information, I am on the team of instructional designers, and I'm working with the instructors on campus that are going to be offering their courses through the Coursera platform. So what is a MOOC? Are you guys familiar? Have you ever heard of a MOOC before? We'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about Coursera and University of Maryland and the partnership. We'll be taking a little bit, yes, that's right, a massive open online course. So that's what that stands for. And we'll be looking at some examples. We'll go to the Coursera website and see some courses that are currently running. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the Maryland courses that are going to be coming up in the spring. So the Massive Open Online Course, the MOOC, it's a type of online course aimed at large-scale participation and access via the web. So they're currently going on now. There's three main players in the MOOC land out there. So there's Coursera, who we've partnered with, Udacity, they're a private educational organization, and then there's edX, MIT, Harvard, and University of California, Berkeley. And edX was the original creators of this MOOC idea, and Coursera was founded by some Daphne Kohler and Andrew Ning from Stanford earlier this spring. And so they're offering this now as well. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of these MOOCs. So open access. It's free for anyone, anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. So economically disadvantaged students have access to high-quality education, and Coursera encourages instructors to use only free materials, so students don't have to worry about purchasing books, things of that nature. There's no real prerequisites. There are some courses out there that have suggestions for prerequisites, like, for example, calculus class may say, oh, we recommend that you have taken high school algebra before you take this, but there's no tests or checks confirming that you have done that. So also, another benefit is the increased enrollments of minorities and women in some countries that may not have access to their actual physical institutions. This is a great way for them to still get that instruction. So that's great. Coursera and WebEx, they both go after the best and the brightest instructors out there. So they want professors from prestigious universities teaching the most sought-after classes, so the content is very rich. Just-in-time instruction. So what's great about this is learning is on the student's time, which is great for adult learners, as you probably know. So you can complete things at your own chosen pace. You can log in at any time, which, of course, is one of the benefits of online learning in general. But for the MOOC, since it's not really attached to any certification at this point, You can log in. You can sign up for a course that's already maybe 2 or 3 weeks in, and then you can just catch up at your own time. And you can watch the videos, and you can participate in discussion as little or as less as you see fit. And so, again, the last is the potential for certification. At this time, if a student completes the course, you may get a certificate that is issued from the instructor of the course, or perhaps the university may offer something like that. But so it's a benefit, so you could actually put this on your resume to send out to potential employers. So that those are some of the benefits. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, we'll just touch on some disadvantages, maybe considerations. You may have heard the enrollments for MOOCs are massive. That's why they're called massive online open courses. So huge enrollments. You can have hundreds or thousands to hundreds of thousands. I think on Coursera, the largest course is an intro to finance maybe, and they have about 160,000 students who registered. That doesn't mean all of those students are in there all participating at once, but if you can imagine that management with that large number of students starts to become an issue. So just something to think about. High dropout rates. So for the MOOCs, there's about 10 to 20% average completion rate. I actually got a chance to meet with Daphne Kohler, the founder of Coursera, last week, and a few of the members in the panel brought up this question of the high dropout rates, and she said if you think about it this way, it's not 10 to 20% sounds very low, but for anyone can go to any course on Coursera and just click a button, and they're considered registered for this course. It doesn't require a lot of commitment. So that's where they're getting that giant number of only 20% completing it. But for the students that actually log in and start going through the weeks, there's more of a 40%, 60% rate. So they ask that we talk about that instead of the low rate. So it's definitely something to think about. So it can lack active learning. So what this means is, depending on the instructor, some courses. Oh, somebody have a question? Okay. I'll keep going. So depending on the instructor, they can choose to have as many discussion boards or as little as they like. There's no real, there's nothing that makes them have to have a certain amount. So depending on who the instructor is, you may or may not get that level of engagement that you're looking for. Also, if watching lectures through video maybe isn't your preferred style of learning, then that could be difficult. Limited access to the instructor. So, of course, when you have such large numbers, like hundreds of thousands of students, you can't expect the instructor to be getting back or answering each one of your inquiries or posts. So we'll look in a few minutes. We'll take a look at one of the courses in Coursera, and we'll look at the discussion board so you can see how we can get around that. And you'll see there's just a really rich community that's built around these discussion boards. So you may not be getting access, you may not be getting direct answers from your instructor, but you may be getting feedback from your peers. So there's peer assessments and things of that nature that help this out a bit. There's also a flagging, a way of people can vote to send up discussion posts to the instructor, so the instructor can go in and see which discussions have the most votes, and then they can maybe respond to that. Let's see. So credit. So just as this was an advantage, it can also be a disadvantage. Right now, there's no credit for completing one of these courses from the instructor or the university. You may get a certificate, but it's not an actual college credit. And finally, connectivity access issues. It could be depending on your bandwidth or access to the internet. You may have difficulty viewing the videos in some parts of the world, and there may be connectivity issues. I know Coursera is working really hard, working diligently, trying to get some access into China. So just things of that nature. And you may have heard that, well, that's probably another topic altogether, but Minnesota is, the state of Minnesota has brought up an issue with Coursera since it's out of state and licensing issues. So these are just things to think about going forward. So Coursera and University of Maryland. So Coursera, I think we touched on this a little bit, but it was founded by Stanford University. At first, they started with offering four universities that were offering classes, and as you can see on the slide, it was just founded this past April. So it's only been around about a year now, and they're already up to 33 universities and 199 courses. So this definitely is something that is coming at us fast, and it's very exciting, and we're just learning as we go. There's a TED video. If anyone has any free time, I know everyone is very busy, but there's a really good TED Talk that Daphne Kohler does from earlier this year. I think she did it in June, where she talks more about Coursera and Coursera's mission. University of Maryland, we were invited to join Coursera in the very beginning of fall, and we have 6 courses that we're going to be releasing in spring 2013, so we're really excited about that. And if anyone is interested in offering a course on Coursera, our best, just contact your dean, and they'll submit a proposal. It's actually the provost office and the president who do the selecting of the courses that they're going to be offering. But I know they're interested in hearing from instructors out there, and if you are already running something online, then this could be a perfect fit for you. Does anybody have any questions before I'm going to share my screen and take a look at a few Coursera examples, so you can get a feel for what a student would view? Yes. So Sarah, you're correct. The provost is the one, along with, they work closely with the president and the president's office to choose which courses are offered by Coursera. I believe the deans of the colleges also can offer up suggestions to them as well. So if you do want to offer your course this way, definitely talk to your dean or department chairhead, and yeah, then we'll go from there. Okay, just bear with me 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, is everyone able to see my screen? Okay, great. So this is the main, let's start from the top. So if you log into Coursera, the first thing I would recommend doing is creating a Coursera account, and then you have more access to features on the site. So as you can see, these are 2 courses that I'm currently enrolled in. But let's just take a look at, if you click on the courses button, you'll see there's 199 courses here, so it's quite a lot. So you can search by university, you can search by category. Let's go to UMD. Actually, let's go to one of the courses I'm enrolled in, and then we'll take a look at one that's currently running so you can get a feel for what that looks like. Okay, so this is run by the University of Illinois, and it's Introduction to Sustainability. So when you first log in, Coursera is basically its own LMS. So this is what a student who logs in would see. There's the home. They go week by week. And Coursera courses can be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, they suggest. It can be longer. Sometimes, just with all online learning courses, the longer they are, it gets a little tough for the students to stay as engaged. But it's up to you, however your course translates online. Also, some instructors are taking maybe a portion or section of a full course, a full semester's worth of a course. Maybe they'll chunk down into just a section like part 1, and then maybe they'll offer part 2. So for this one, just go into week 1. So you can see that this professor is giving an overview, time. So everything is given to the students up front, the expectations, which is, of course, very important in online learning. So they need to know what they're getting into. So for this class and this module, it'll take you 7 days and approximately 10 to 12 hours of time. So these are instructional activities. They recommending instructors do about 1 to 2 hours of video per session or module, and broken into easily digestible chunks for the student. So anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes is recommended. What's great about Coursera is they offer all of these options for the students. So maybe if you don't want to watch the video with the audio, you can just download the PowerPoint, or you can get the transcript. Or if you are going offline, you can download something to watch later. So all these options, that's key for online learners and adult learners these days, so they can get access to it whenever, whatever time works for them. So I don't think you guys will be able to hear this. But so this instructor, there's multiple ways you can do it. We can do Camtasia videos to embed your slides from a PowerPoint and have your little picture maybe in the corner. Some instructors use a tablet, so if you have a lot of math or physics course that's running, you can write your equations right on top of things. So that's really neat. And another great feature of Coursera is they offer the ability to embed quizzes. So embed quizzes in videos. So not only will you have an assessment or quiz at the end of the module, but you could say after 2.5 minutes insert a quiz question right here just to keep the students engaged and make sure that they're paying attention, keeping on task. And also it is more engaging for a student. And also you see over here closed caption. So you can watch this with captions in English, Arabic, Spanish, and Portuguese. And they're constantly evolving their closed caption abilities. Coursera is, so I think they're getting French next. And so it's constantly evolving, which is really great. So let's go take a look at a discussion forum so you can get a feel for how that looks. All the forums are included in this one button on the side. And of course, and at the top they have considerations for the forum. So be friendly, use the upvotes like we talked about earlier to bring attention to good posts, search before you post. Coursera has a function where if one student writes in a question and another student writes in almost the same question, they will let the student know so that you don't have a million forums and it just gets unmanageable. Oh, Danielle has a question. Great question. Camtasia is definitely a format that a software that they suggest, but not everyone uses it. Right now, actually, we're working with a professor in the business school I'm working with, and he does a lot of work with Panopto. So we're trying to figure out a way to get his Panopto videos into the Coursera format to look and work the best way. So any way that you can get a video file into Coursera, that is how these videos work. So if you're in Camtasia, for example, you would just export it as an MP4 or a WMV, MOV. It takes all the usual video formats. So exactly, it's mostly they support most any of the instructors choosing. Great question. So let's check the getting to know your classmates. This is always a great way to start out an online course with a getting to know you forum. So it's pretty easy. Just start a new thread if you'd like to do so to state that you're in the group. As you can see here, for example, you can vote this up. So Helen, it looks like a week ago, is talking about an international study group on Facebook. Let's click in here. So she's created a group on Facebook for people to interact for the students, and it's been voted up 415 times, so it goes to the top of the forum. And that's another thing that Coursera really encourages, group work. So you can have students collaborating in groups either face-to-face or online all over the world. Also, if you notice this little pin up here on the left, this red pin, that means the instructor chose to pin this one so it sticks on top, like sticky it almost. And they titled it Read This First, which is a good idea to make sure people read it. There's also a note, sorry for scroll forum, but sometimes an instructor will jump into one that's been, has a lot of votes, and they'll respond. If they do respond, it will be flagged with a little blue flag. And so then students will know, oh, the instructor has responded to this post. I better log in here and see what they've said. So there's lots of ways for students to connect and get engaged, and you don't have to be overwhelmed as an instructor thinking that you have to go in and respond to each of these. That would just be completely crazy. So, yes, instructors don't have to feel bad about not being in there the whole time. Also, Coursera recommends a GA to help you as an instructor with combing through these and just making sure there's no real questions coming out, or maybe there's an issue that's not very clear and you should pay attention. You should be made aware of. So a GA helps in that regard. So here's your quizzes. Well, the quiz, that's just your quiz results. So a student can go in and see how they're doing and check in, just make sure they're on task. You may be curious on how there's grading from regular assessments or multiple choice. That's easy, but there is the ability in Coursera, which is a really cool feature that we haven't even got to explore yet, since none of our classes are really running yet, but there's this peer review feature that you can set up, and so your students end up grading each other, and so it just is another one less task that you have to do as an instructor. So now let's take a look at our University of Maryland offerings. So we have 6 that are going to be running in this coming spring. One hasn't been added yet to the bottom, but we're very excited. We're completely learning as we go. It's very interesting from an instructional design perspective, because we're totally used to doing instructional design for an online course that's your typical length and your typical amount of students, but this is just a whole new ball game with all these students and finding new best practices. So we're just finding that we're learning as we're going, and some of our previous notions and ideas on online learning we're needing to rethink with regards to just like the discussion board, for example. We know in typical online courses, of course, students like that feedback, the feedback from their instructors, but in this environment, they need to get their feedback, most cases, from their peers. So how is that going to work? So these are all really exciting and new ideas that we're coming across, and I'm sure we'll probably do a follow-up to this in the spring and let everyone know how it's going. Does anyone have any questions? Back to our slides here. Oh, I will add that one great thing that's coming soon is Coursera is building a sort of network or a place where the different universities who are hosting their courses can share with each other ideas and best practices, so we can get a sense and learn from each other what works, what doesn't work. One of our biggest challenges right now is nailing down a timeline for the instructors. There's a lot of video that needs to be going up, and if you include the editing and the captioning and all that, it definitely it's a time commitment up front more so than afterwards, um, which is a shift in things. So here are just some of our references of where we got some information. And then, as always, can feel free to email us at learningtools@umd.edu anytime, and we'll be happy to talk with you about MOOCs or any questions you have. You know, there's just a little thing coming around the corner called Canvas. So if you have any questions on that, yeah, we're always here for you. And thank you, everyone, for coming today and joining us on this lovely Tuesday. And please come back next week. We're back to our Canvas Talk series, and it's going to be on migrating and getting started rebuilding your courses in Canvas. So definitely one not to miss out on. So thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.